Hello everyone, we're Cut Brothers. We're here today. We're going to show you the installation of our four-wheel drive conversion kit on 81 to 87/91 one-ton. My name is Justin.
I'm Patrick. Today right here we have a 88 one-ton dually frame that we're actually going to show you the conversion on. We're going to start by removing the mounts on the driver's side here. We're going to show that to you in real time, how two people can just knock this one side out and go. Later in the video, we'll actually go through individuals of showing you how to remove each specific mount. We'll do that on passenger hand side, and then we'll actually show you how to install each individual bracket in their correct locations as we go along. So we're going to get started. We're going to actually do several different methods of how to remove these brackets. Depending upon what tooling you have, there are easy ways to do it, there's harder ways, but we know everybody doesn't have, plasma cutters and, high-tech tools to do this with, so up front I'm going to kind of start with the drill. Justin's going to take an air hammer and grinder and start moving some of the back ones. That way you just get a feel that there's no one method really needed to remove these. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's knock it out.
Let's knock it out.
Alright guys, so that took us about 25 minutes or so. We were able to knock out one side of the truck. Now we completely understand that if you're doing this and the rig was completely together, that definitely would take more time than that. So probably, if one person's doing it, you're probably talking a few hours of work, and then if you're only drilling it, definitely that takes a lot longer if you're doing it and drilling all of them out individually. But it's easily achievable. One thing to note is, as you see, this one is completely stripped down. Our K member has already been removed, whole front suspension, so you will have to add time for doing all that. But what we'll do now is we'll proceed to showing you how to individually remove each one and what it takes to remove each bracket. And then we'll show you how what holes need to be enlarged, what holes need to be added in order to put your new brackets on. Thanks. All right, starting off with, I'm gonna center punch each of the rivets as close as you can to the center. Put a pretty hefty dimple on them. This will help you center your drill bit up whenever you go to drill through the rivet. Alright, that's close enough. I'm going to start off with it's about anywhere between a quarter, 3/16 inch drill bit. We're going to drill through the head of the rivet and hopefully hit through the frame. So you're probably going to go about 3/8 of an inch deep. And this is just to, so that when we go to drill out larger, we don't have to take so much material out. Again, we're not looking to drill all the way through the rivet, but you're trying to make sure you at least make it through the rivet and past the frame. Again, since the material is about 3/16 on this plate, you're going to go somewhere between 3/8 to half an inch. All right, once you've drilled a pilot on each one of them, we're going to step up to a 3/8 or slightly larger drill bit. So the rivets themselves are 3/8 in diameter. You want to be slightly bigger than that so that when you drill through, you end up taking the head of the actual rivet off. So I'm actually going to use a 7/16 drill bit. And then you only have to, so we're going to drill the head and then drill until basically we contact here. All right. If you want, come on up in here. So as you can see, once you drill up, you should be able to see the contour where the rivet is, the very faint line in there. That's where the shaft of the actual rivet is. So we drilled through the head to that. And now you should be able to take a chisel and chisel the head off of it. Up here, you may end up having an issue as I did here where my hole was slightly off. You had enough material has been taken off though, you should still be able to chisel that head off. So now we're just going to take a regular flat chisel and we're going to knock the heads off. All right. Now if you did happen to have an air hammer or an air chisel, you could have made that a lot easier and just knocked it off with that. Now at this point, just take it behind there. Bracket will come off like so. Now at this point, you could just take a center point, center punch and knock each of the rivets out. Sometimes you may end up deforming it though doing that, so you can actually take a grinder, grind them flush and then punch them out. I'm actually just gonna see if I can knock them straight out with the center punch right here. All right, just like that, that's how you get your bracket off and the rivets out. All right, moving on to the rear. On this one, we're going to show an alternative method for removing the rivets. So on the front one, we did, probably everybody has the ability, has a chisel, has a drill. So that's what we would consider the hard way to do it. On the rear here, we're going to start off, take grinder and cutoff wheel. I'm going to end up putting as close to a cross cut on each head of the rivet, and then we're going to go back and knock the heads off with air chisel. All right. All right, as you saw, I did have a little bit of difficulty getting in here on some of these. You know, sometimes you've got other brackets here that make that a little bit more difficult. There's nothing really exact about how you notch it. All we're trying to do is remove some material between the head and the actual rivet shank, so it'll shear off. Sometimes what would make this easier is if you actually had a like a 3-inch body cutoff wheel, a little small pneumatic one you could get in there. That actually would be a little bit easier to get in there than a full right angle grinder. But we're going to try now, see if we got enough material off of there that the air head will take them off. Sometimes you may have to take a few good whacks at it. Again, comes off like so. Alright, so after we get our bracket off, as you see, there's still a good bit of the rivet head sticking through. What we're actually going to do is change out our cutting disc to either a stone grinding disc. I'm going to actually use a flapper disc as preference. And we're going to grind the heads down on them so they're about flush with the frame to help make it easier to punch them out. Alright, remind sometimes your paper comes off the flapper disc when you're grinding. So we ground them flush through the frame. Now we're going to take the air hammer and we're actually going to try to punch them out. Alright, just like so. Alright, so we're moving on to our rear spring brackets. We're going to use the same method with the cutoff wheel and the air hammer. Hopefully we'll put more cuts in the heads of our rivets. So again, the more cuts you can get on the rivet head, the easier it'll be to chisel off. So we're going to get started with that. Alright, so as you can see, I tried to do 3 cuts on each of those. You kind of want to spread them. The whole point is to really knock out as much material holding the head to the rivet shank. You can use the cutoff method if you wanted to. You could also take a grinding disc and you could actually grind the head off of it, or put a really deep gouge in it with actual grinding disc. But normally this keeps you from having to do less grinding on it. Alright, as you can see, those were a lot easier to take off since I put more cuts in there. Alright, like so. Alright, again, we're now going to take the grinder, grind the heads down, and chisel the remainder of the bits out. Alright, now we're going to take our air hammer with a blunt tip and drive the rest of the bits out. Alright, now as you can see on the rear hangers here, we also have this reinforcement bracket for your rear hanger. This bracket also needs to be taken off as well. So we're going to again slice the heads of the rivets, and we're going to take them off in the same way. Taking our air hammer with our flat chisel again, I'm going to drive the rivet heads off. Good. Back over to our flapper disc one more time. Clean the heads up. Now we'll drive them out. The air hammer one more time. All right, and that's the rear hangers removed. All right, so to be able to put our front brackets on, we also have to remove the original sway bar bracket here. So there's two rivets that hold it on. We're actually going to just drill these out. Again, you could cut the heads. You can use an air hammer if you want to, but we're just going to drill these out. So again, center punching to get you a good spot, get your drill bit centered up on. We're just going to drill through them. All right, we'll swap out to larger drill bit. I'm going to use a 15-30 seconds to drill them out. All right, should be it. Just chisel them off. Alright, brackets removed. Now let's see if we can just drive the rivets through without having to grind them off. Alright, seems like we're not so lucky, so we're actually going to get a grinder and a flapper disc and grind those off flush and then pop them right through. That'll be the last thing to do, and then at that point we should be able to start on putting the front brackets on.